If you have an Audible Plus subscription, is this hard to focus? Anyway, if you have an Audible Plus subscription, there are so many good Christmas books out there. I picked 5 top-rated Christmas books, and I'm gonna try them out today. Hi, my name's Bea. Welcome to my channel. Mama needs to read some romance and wear ridiculous hats. I was compiling a list of top-rated Audible Plus books, and I decided to pick 5 because I have time to listen to books. I don't necessarily have time to read a lot physically, but I have time to listen, so I thought this will be great. I can read through several top-rated ones that look especially good to me, report back to you guys, and pick one or maybe even more that I really want to listen to this holiday season. My first pick is Christmas Every Day by Beth Moran. When Jenny inherits her estranged grandmother's cottage in Sherwood Forest, she has nothing to lose. No money, no job, no friends, no family to speak of, and zero self-respect. Things can only get better. Her grumpy but decidedly handsome new neighbor, Mac, has a habit of bestowing unsolicited good deeds on her. And when Jenny is welcomed into a rather unusual book club, life seems to finally be getting more interesting. Instead of reading, the members pledge to complete individual challenges before Christmas. From finding new love and learning to bake to completing a daredevil bucket list, Jenny can't resist joining in, and soon a year of friendship and laughter, tears and regrets unfold in the most unexpected ways. Warm, wise, funny, and utterly uplifting. What one thing would you change in your life before Christmas comes around? I chose this because it sounds really deep and uplifting, fun. I really think it might be a good story. My second one is Her Stand-In Fake Fiance, the Christmas romance series, book 1. She secretly has a crush on him. He knows she's off limits. What happens if they break all the rules? Presley Windsor is preparing for the new season of American Ninja Champions. That's unusual. Leaving her zero time for anything as frivolous as a boyfriend. When someone posts a picture of her trying on a diamond ring with a mystery man, they assume she's getting engaged. Instead of telling the public it was all a misunderstanding, Presley's publicist decides this is the perfect launch for her career and confirms the engagement. What? Things escalate quickly, and the network wants to reveal her fiancé on national TV, leaving Presley scrambling to find someone to play the role long enough for the special to air. Cade Hunter is her brother's best friend and makes Presley breathless just looking at him. She's secretly crushed on him, never dreaming he might have a thing for her too. When he volunteers to be her fake fiance, he volunteers. Okay, this is good news. Presley keeps reminding herself that he's doing it as a favor to her brother. Everything changes after they kiss under the mistletoe. Ah, Christmas mistletoe! Leaving Presley hoping the magic of Christmas will bring her a real-life fiance after all. This looks Christmassy and cute. My third pick is Crazy for You, Christmas in Starlight Hill. He needs a break. She needs a date. What do a washed-up LA cop and a celebrity hairstylist have in common? Christmas magic. Fallon McQueen needs a date to a wedding. The pickings at the speed dating events she's attended are slim indeed, and it doesn't help that she has someone specific in mind. Then she meets Santa Claus. Santa Claus? Interesting. Jack Cooper is tired of the big city. He needs a break from the streets of LA, but when he stops a dead beat from breaking and entering, he's simply trying to do a good deed. Now he has a hot but crazy blonde asking him to be her date to a destination wedding. If Jack is going to help, they're going to do it his way, and faster than you can say road trip. Fallon McQueen is on the trip of a lifetime. This looks really promising. I love the cover, I love the title, I love the premise, which is why I picked this for my fourth choice, Christmas at Carly's Cupcakes. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's December on Castle Street, the fairy lights are twinkling, snow has settled, and the festive season is in full swing. For Carly, the owner of Carly's Cupcakes, it's the busiest time of year getting everyone's Christmas treats ready on time. However, with her clumsy sister Bethany as a co-worker, it's proving a difficult task. They say you shouldn't mix work with family. Maybe they have a point. As Christmas approaches, Carly is also eagerly awaiting the return of her best friend to Whitboro Bay. Liam has no idea he's been the object of her affection since their school days. After years of pining after him, can Carly pluck up the courage to finally tell him how she really feels by the 25th of December? Could a little festive magic make all of Carly's wishes come true this Christmas? A heartwarming, short, festive story of friendship and family from bestseller Jessica Redland. This looks really cute. I might be right up my alley. Cupcakes, Christmas, cute boys. Yes, checking all the boxes. This last one I'm choosing reminds me of a Hallmark movie I saw recently. It's the same title, and I'm wondering if it's a very similar plot. Boyfriends of Christmas Past. A magical modern-day Christmas carol. Digital designer Emma Wallace is finally poised for her big break. Kitchenware giant Johnson Cookware is looking to rebrand, and with Christmas around the corner, Emma's long-held philosophy of work before play may just give her the edge she needs to win the account. The only peppermint twist in her Scrooge-worthy plan? She promised her ever-patient architect boyfriend Sam Cole that after spending the last 3 Christmases in her office instead of in his arms, she'll make this holiday just about the 2 of them. But as Christmas Eve draws near and the deadline crunch threatens her promise to Sam, Emma finds herself visited by 3 boyfriend ghosts of Christmas past, who come bearing the gift of hindsight. Will showing Emma her past romantic failures as well as her early courtship with Sam help her see the path to true happiness in time to save her future? I can't wait to find out. Well, those were the 5 books. I'll be reading the first chapter of each, reporting back to you, and then we will choose which one we're gonna go with. Let's do this! Too silly, I'm sorry. Just listened to the first chapter of Christmas at Carly's Cupcakes and I am loving it. The narrator has an adorable British voice, which is giving me all the feels already. There are so many Christmas movies and books, of course, that I associate with a British accent, so I'm already getting cozy Christmas vibes, and it's in a bakery. It's beautifully written. I am loving all of the Christmas baking that they are doing, but the plot, we have Carly. She owns her own cupcake shop, and she is just trying to get through the holidays and do it well. She's employing her sister, though, who is kind of flaky, I think. Bakery term. Her sister really wants to impress her fiance's parents. One of the reasons that she has not impressed the fiance's parents, though, however, is because she can't hold down a job. So Carly feels like she has to keep her sister employed in order to make sure that the fiance's parents are impressed. It's not going all that well, though. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot going on yet. It's only the first chapter out of a almost 6-hour book, but I am really enjoying all the Christmassy feels. This main character is really adorable, and I'm looking forward to maybe picking this one and seeing what kind of a Christmas she winds up having. Well, I just finished the first chapter of Boyfriends of Christmas Past, and it follows Emma. She is a workaholic. She has an incredible boyfriend named Sam. They've been together for 3 years, and she seems a little selfish, honestly, I have to say. She puts her work above him. She's constantly making him wait. She's late for things. And while he is also very devoted to his job, he's never made her wait. He's never been late for her. He always kind of puts her maybe on the front burner along with his job is sort of what I'm getting, but he seems like a really good guy. She is making mistake after mistake, though, because she really wants this new deal with this company that she didn't think she was going to be able to get. And unfortunately, 2 things. One, she's late for their dinner because she's been working on trying to get this deal. And then in order to secure the deal, she is going to have to work up to Christmas, which means she's not going to be able to go with him to his parents' house. And this is the 3rd year in a row she will have had to cancel. No, the 4th year. It seems like this could be a fun time, especially once the boyfriends start to pop up. I think it could be funny and also interesting. And of course, you know, she's going to end up with her boyfriend in the end, and he seems like a good guy. So this is a shorter one, and I actually think I've seen the Hallmark movie of this. I'm even wearing my Hallmark Christmas shirt right now. Because I do like myself a Hallmark Christmas movie. And this sounds like a story that would be good. So maybe I'll end up choosing it. Well, I just finished the first chapter of Crazy for You, Christmas in Starlight Hill, and quite frankly, it fell a little flat for me. I'll just start out by saying that. A lot of the humor didn't really land for me. I found it to be kind of trying too hard. Have you ever read a book where it's like, it doesn't quite fit your sense of humor and it just feels like it's forced? I don't know. Maybe I'm not being fair. Well, at least I know I don't have the same sense of humor as the author. I'll say that. We have Fallon. She is a divorced mom. She's moved to LA. and she misses her son desperately. And this Christmas, her son is actually with his dad, her ex. Her ex is getting married, by the way, at Christmas, and Fallon really needs a date. She wants to prove everybody wrong, that she's doing great, even though she's just been fired, and she has been lying to her mother and other members of her family for the past 6 months, saying that she's dating someone, and she's not. So she's been speed dating, looking for a man that matches the description that she's been telling people that she's been with. And the speed dating is not going well at all. She goes home one evening feeling very sorry for herself and discovers Santa Claus wrestling a man to the ground in front of her home. Turns out this Santa is a former police officer, and he grabbed this guy that was trying to break into Fallon's home. So turns out Santa is actually quite attractive. His name is Jack, and he's quit the force and is looking for something to do. He doesn't know what his next move's going to be. So Fallon believes he is going to be the perfect guy to take to the wedding. So she invites him in for milk and cookies. I did think that last part was kind of cute. It looks like it's going to be a cute fake dating book. We'll see if I choose it. I just finished the prologue and the first chapter of Christmas Every Day. And let me tell you, Helen Keeley is an incredible narrator. I felt like I was experiencing a play. She's really acting the words, which was really cool. I don't think I've heard anyone just do that good a job just on their own. I've heard some great things by casts of narrators, but not one individual, I don't think. But yeah, she's doing an exceptional job. The prologue is her and her great job, and she believes that her in-office boyfriend is about to propose. So it looks like things are looking up. And she mentioned how she doesn't really have a family, so she was looking forward to being part of his. And then the chapter ends, and we pick up at chapter 1, where she is heading into the middle of nowhere. She's in Sherwood Forest, actually. Literally. Beautiful English countryside. She's basically in the woods, and it's very remote. This one taxi driver says he's the only one that's even going to be willing to go and pick her up. So he basically charges way too much money, and she's so upset because she's down to very little. She's trying to get into her cottage, her grandmother's old cottage, I believe, and she can't get in. And while she's trying to basically break in, a gentleman from next door accosts her. When he realizes that she's in distress, he stops, like pushing her into the picnic table. It doesn't look like it's gonna be a good living situation, I'll say that. So the first chapter is pretty bleak, but I think it's supposed to be bleak because it's going to make the rest of the book even happier when things start going her way. So a really strong first chapter and prologue, great narrator. Looks like it's gonna be a really good story. I'm intrigued. Well, I just read the first chapter, which was 30 minutes long, of her stand-in fake fiance, an older brother's best friend Christmas romance. And wow, it was very interesting. Presley has a brother named Travis, and they're very close. The reason they're close is actually really terrible. Their father was killed in a car accident when they were young, and it wasn't just him that was killed in the accident, by the way. His mistress was also killed in this accident. The mistress that none of them had any clue existed. This was a longtime mistress too, so at the same time they lost their father, they also lost all faith in the family that they had. It was pretty crazy. Then a few years later, their mother passed away from cancer. For a lighthearted Christmas book, this is starting out very intense and dramatic, especially because the rest of this is sort of zany almost. It's kind of interesting that tonally it's sort of all over the place. Presley and Travis are hunting for engagement rings for Travis's girlfriend, who he wants to propose to. Travis is a firefighter, and he has this great idea to propose to her during a fire drill at her school, because he would show up there anyway as the fire department. And it's a great idea. The problem is Presley is famous. She is like an American ninja warrior. And someone saw her looking for an engagement ring with someone and didn't realize it was her brother. So they're like, ooh, who's this mystery man? She's going to get married. This is so exciting. She's looking at rings. So Presley talks to her manager and says, you've got to fix this. This is a disaster. And it turns out actually Travis goes ahead and proposes to his girlfriend. We don't get to see any of the proposal, which I would have liked to see, but I guess they chose not to include it because this story is not about Travis and his girlfriend. Or fiance. Anyway, Presley, in talking to her manager, the manager says, well, guess what? Now that it's out that you were supposed to be getting engaged, there's all this new interest in you. And there are people calling us wanting to give us deals and put you on the next season of American Ninja Warrior or whatever it's called. But they really want to do this in part because they want to know about your fiance or your soon-to-be fiance. So Presley realizes she's going to have to keep up this ruse for a little bit because it's going to be really good for her career. So she's going to have Cade, who is her brother's best friend, hence the title, who is also a firefighter and has only ever really seen her as a sister. She's going to ask him to pretend to be her fiance for her work. That's essentially it. I didn't see any hint of Christmas at all, which is fine because maybe that comes later, but I'm just saying it's part of it. It's decision time, and my 6-year-old is in here, refuses to leave, and he's playing a game, so you're going to be able to hear that. I'm sorry. Let's talk about these 5 books. I thought they were all strong. I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but I'm going to knock out first Christmas Every Day because it goes over the course of a year, so it's probably not going to be too Christmassy, considering it goes over the course of a year. So I'm going to knock that one out because I really want those Christmassy vibes. I'm being nitpicky here, but in her stand-in fake fiance, I don't think I'm going to go for that one either because I don't really feel myself connecting with Presley. I mean, maybe I'm not an American Ninja Warrior or whatever it is that she's called, so I don't know if that's part of it. Half of this first chapter was about, well, not half of it, but a lot of it was about her working out and her whole regimen. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to be reading about that during the holidays because I'm going to be doing the opposite of that. So I'm going to knock that one out. It wasn't really calling to me. Can you hear this? In Crazy for You, Christmas in Starlight Hill, I wasn't really loving the hero or heroine. I'm sure it's an interesting story, but it's not one that's super compelling to me. It's probably because I just have 2 more that I'm really excited about, to be honest. It's down to Boyfriends of Christmas Past or Christmas at Carly's Cupcakes. They both look really good. I've seen the movie of Boyfriends of Christmas Past, and I really want to see how it differs in an audiobook form. At the same time, Christmas at Carly Cupcakes give me a lot of those Christmassy feels, and I really like the narrator, so I think my final decision is Christmas at Carly's Cupcakes. I'm really, really excited, and the next time you see me, I will be able to tell you more about that book. I just finished Christmas at Carly's Cupcakes by Jessica Redland. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. And actually, I was really taken with this. I know it doesn't sound like I gave it a really great score, but this is a kind of story, and this author, I was looking at her other stuff, I could really enjoy her books, but in a very different way. She's the type of person, and I hope this doesn't sound unkind, but you don't have to listen all that closely to just sort of enjoy it. Like at one point I was listening to the book and my 9-year-old was yelling about where his toys were and my 6-year-old was screaming because we were trying to give him his antibiotics for his ear infection and he didn't want that. And my 2-year-old was in her diaper on the stairs screaming the lyrics to Let It Go. Just up and down the stairs, just like Elsa. And I had my book going and I didn't really miss anything. And that's my life a lot of the time. So there might be a lot of Jessica Redland in my future where I can just sort of sit back and relax, listen, tune in and out, but still be able to pick up on what is going on. and not be stressed about missing something. It seems like she does a lot of seasonal type things throughout the year. There's a lot of her stuff's on Kindle Unlimited. A lot of it is on Audible Plus. So if you have a subscription to either of those, you can get those for free. I would definitely do, for me, Audible, because I don't think that these are necessarily, I don't want to be unkind again, but I don't think they're like good enough to devote all of my attention to. If I'm gonna be reading something physical, I want it to be a little more gripping. If that makes sense. Listening to, I think, will be great. Honestly, I think this was women's fiction versus romance. There were romantic elements in this, primarily through the backstory. Liam doesn't even show up until after like 2/3 of the way through the book. So you're relying a lot on her memories of him and how they grew up, they were best friends, and they had feelings for one another that grew very slowly over time, but each of them was so solidly friends with the other one. They were both too nervous because they're both such sweet people. They were too nervous to do anything about it. So there were multiple times that she reflects on when something might have happened, but it didn't. And so you're really wondering, are they ever going to get out of this rut that they're in? Is he with somebody else? He's overseas. He's on his way home, hopefully. And it really had a wonderful ending. I thought it was very sweet. I loved how so many of the things that they were doing, it's like, you know, we got in bed together and snuggled like friends do. Or he was giving me a back massage while I was making cakes, you know, like a friend would. I'm like, what kind of friends do you have? Oh my, you guys are more than friends, just admit it. So anyway, the majority of this book, though, was dealing with Bethany, who is Carly's sister. And I hate to say it, I actually really loved how they covered mental health and PTSD. Bethany, my heavens, was stabbed in the stomach at a preschool where she worked and hasn't really dealt with it. Carly, she wasn't able to go back to work at all. She tried and she couldn't handle it. So Carly has given her a job at the cupcake shop, but it's going very badly. And Carly doesn't know what to do. Carly feels like she really needs to help her, but she doesn't know how. Her boyfriend, her fiance, John, I want to say, he loves her, but you know, Bethany doesn't feel like she's good enough for him. She doesn't feel like she's good enough for the shop. A lot of time is spent reassuring Bethany and trying to make Bethany feel like it's okay. Bethany's anxieties are compounded even more because she has an upcoming wedding to John and his family doesn't even like her. I mean, there's a lot about Bethany in this book, to the point where I'm like, Bethany, just get over yourself. But then when you find out more about how much she's suffering internally, panic attacks, etc., then you have a little more compassion. But yes, I would have loved a lot more Liam and a little less Bethany in this story. But I did enjoy it. I do recommend it if you want. Again, I would probably recommend listening to it versus reading it. But you know, if you really want something that's not too intense, but has really nice characters. And I loved, it was Christmassy in the way that it would be Christmassy if you're working at a cupcake shop. They did go to a tree lighting, but everything else was, I'm making wise men out of icing, I'm doing a gingerbread house, you know, that type of, it was Christmas related to baking primarily. But I really did enjoy it. So I'm pleased with my pick. If I have time by the end of the month, which I highly doubt, I want to listen to Boyfriends of Christmas Past. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading, whether it's Christmassy or not. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.